everyone, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be a Q&A video because we just hit 80,000 subscribers. Whoop whoop! So I asked you literally everywhere, Twitter, YouTube, and Patreon, if you had any questions for me. So we're going to go through them, answer as many as possible, and we're going to try to have fun. What's your favorite sci-fi movie? Okay, I will do a video on that. Like, I promise, but we need to talk, okay? I'm literally going to move this in the beginning of the video on purpose because since we're all going to be quarantined and have nothing better to do-ish, do me a favor. I never do that. I never tell you, you all need to absolutely read that book. Like, I rarely say that, but I all need you to watch this movie. Because when I do that list, officially, that video, I want you to be able to be like, yes, it was awesome. Because every time I talk about that movie to anyone, they've never watched it. So it's like criminally underrated, and I can't because it's such a good movie. It's super wholesome. It's not hard sci-fi. It's very like, should I name it? About Time, which hopefully some of you have watched it. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. You have this ginger dude who, I believe when he's 21, his dad sits him down and tells him that the men in their family, when they become of age, they get that power with time where they can go back in time in their own lifetime and relive the same day or change stuff. And like, he now needs to decide whatever he wants to do with his life and how he's going to, you know, do it. And there's Rachel McAdams in there, so obviously right there you need to watch it. And it's just so much more than that. It's just such a wholesome movie. Like, I laughed, I cried, and there's such an amazing like family relationship, but there's especially the best father and son relationship ever. And frankly, do yourself a favor and watch this movie. It's just so freaking good. So just thinking about it, I get emotional. I got emotional. So please watch About Time. What classic book you want to read but you couldn't yet? You know what? There's a few questions kind of like that saying like, which one do you want to read but you know you never will and it's on your shelf? Let's just, let's be honest. I'm probably never going to read War and Peace. Boom. I said it. We're all not shocked. It's a very, very humongous book. It's literally the size of a dictionary. It's the one I would choose. It's not a question, but it's definitely the one I would choose if someone were to enter my house and I wanted to just defend myself. You can kill someone with it. But yeah, apparently there are like a bunch of pages about agriculture and stuff that will bore the shit out of me. But I did watch the TV show, which was really great, which probably makes me there's less of a chance of me reading it now, I feel like. Why such strong hate for romance novels and chick lit? Okay, first off, I don't have an issue with chick lit. I do have an issue with romance, and are you ready? I have the worst case of secondhand embarrassment. I cringe so freaking hard when I read romance, especially badly written to me sex scenes. There are a few I did like. I did do a video about my favorite romance, and those ones gave me the whole like giggly, you know, like, oh, I'm rooting for them, it's cute. That rarely happens to me though. Usually I just get that cringy, I'm dying inside, because in my head, I can't help but imagine the author writing that and then someone else reading it and be like, yeah, that's good. I can't, I'm dying inside. I have a friend that told me actually I need to watch the TV show The Office because apparently I'm gonna actually die because of the secondhand embarrassment. So maybe I should record that because I need to do this. I don't hate them purposely. I just cringe so hard. Actually, a few people were asking me similar question that one of my favorite books that was recommended to me or that I found through BookTube that I would have never read otherwise. And I'm gonna mention two. The first one is A Little Life, which I feel like it's doing its round all over YouTube right now. But it's such a fantastic, heartbreaking story. I feel like people either love it or hate it. I definitely loved it, and it tortured my poor soul, and I'm still not over it. And I read it last year, and I will never be over it. But that book is amazing, and I would have never read that without not necessarily just booktube, but also like lists on Goodreads and stuff. Like I would have never been so much out of my comfort zone without being on YouTube myself. And same thing with I'll Give You the Sun by Jen D. Nelson. For sure, that one is definitely a booktube one. It's one of the first books, like the first year I was on booktube, I read that. And it's a YA contemporary, and would have never picked that up without booktube, and it was just awesome. Again, it's something people either love or hate because of the writing style. I definitely really enjoyed it. The stories, because you're following twins. Again, my heart. Definitely stories that stuck with me and that I recommend. I don't mention that one a lot actually, but definitely would recommend that one. Cake or pie? I don't eat a lot of pie. I'm probably missing out. So cake, just by default. Oh, one by my evil twin. Do you actually believe raspberries are the only kind of jam that matters? Yes, absolutely. A lot of people were asking me for book recommendation for during the quarantine, and I should probably try and do a video for that, but I would go with things that are more wholesome. Like I did just do like a video reviewing a bunch of post-apocalyptic books that I've read, so if you want something dark, we'd go and watch that video, but I should do like a wholesome version. And right now, the first that pops into my mind would be the Long Way Too Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. That one is super wholesome. Like the characters are very likable, and it is a sci-fi, but it's a very accessible one. I think a lot of people would enjoy that one. I really would recommend that one because again, wholesomeness, and we could all use a little bit of that right now. Oh, I forgot to make a toast. Yeah, like the first time. I already just ate. I had naan bread and spinach dip. Very healthy. So right now I'm not hungry, but I need to do that next time. I'll try to remember. If the world ran out of Cheerios tomorrow, what would you do? Don't you dare scare me like that. I have like 4 boxes right now because of some of you lovely people, and I don't want to. What is the one genre that intimidates you the most? There are genres that I don't really read, but they don't intimidate me. So I think the one that intimidates me the most would be probably literary fiction. Because of the writing style. Again, English is not my first language. That could kind of include also classics, I guess. Yeah, just because the language. Although I feel like at this point I'm pretty good. But yeah, just slower paced, more complex books are more intimidating. Or I could also say like the really thick hard sci-fi, because they scare the crap out of me. Yeah, those are probably my number 2. My 2. What food do you refuse to eat? I'm personally allergic to lime, so I don't eat that. Actually, we were talking about pies. That's how we figured out when I was a kid. I had like a humongous rash on my arms, and then it evolved into throat, and I don't want to test it again. So lime is definitely something I refuse to eat because I would like to not die. And because I hate it. Celery, I've definitely talked about my hate of celery. It's just disgusting. And other than that, there's eggplants I'm not a fan of, or aubergines. Yeah, I think they're too mushy. But celery is definitely my number 1 thing that I just can't. I can't. Will you ever finish reading The Count of Monte Cristo? Yes. I'm hoping to do it this summer because that's when I usually read more like contemporaries and, you know, classics and stuff. No promises. I have a great idea for a video. I need to stop saying my ideas because I feel like I've read that study that says that whenever you say it before you've done it, it kind of gives you that satisfaction and then you just don't do it. So I'm not gonna say these things anymore. But I'm hoping that I will read it this year. And I have an idea for it if I do get around to doing it. Are you seeing anyone right now, or are you single? Wow, chicken, wow, wow. Single as a Pringle. Probably because I eat Cheerios in bed. Like, who wants to be in a bed with like chunks of Cheerios? Me. If you could be quarantined with one fictional character, who would you choose? That is a great question. So many choices. Any of like my favorite wholesome characters. Did I do a video, or did I just think about this video? Because I would, like, if it wasn't literally like snowing right now, I could have like Sam from Lord of the Rings. We could just garden because my backyard has absolutely nothing, so that would be nice. Or I could have Bonnie from Vampire Diaries. I wanted to rewatch this the other day. I have yet to do it. And she was like, they did her so dirty in that show. Like, she's so awesome. And like, how many years has it been? I'm still mad about it. Yeah. Who else could I be with? Someone fun. Damn. I'm so bad with those questions because I don't remember characters' names, and like, you're gonna list some in the comment section for me. You're gonna do it because you're so much better, and I will be like, that's the answer I should have said. So what's the scariest book you've read? I struggled to be actually scared when I read a book, but one of them that made me deeply uncomfortable, even though I didn't really like the book, but if you want that slow feeling of dread, I would recommend reading Inhalation. There's that specific scene where they're like going in that tower under the floor. Words. I got very uncomfortable in that scene. So maybe that will be something you enjoy. Oh, also, I'm thinking of ending things. There's also a scene at one point where I was like uncomfortable. So maybe. Both books are books that I'm kind of so-so about, but like, maybe you'll enjoy them. If you could travel to anywhere in the world, where would you go? Nowhere right now. But more seriously, I've never been anywhere except America, like not just the US. I mean, oh, how the hell did I just forget that I went to Korea? We'll blame it on the surgery. Chirurgie. I've never been to Europe. I would love to go to Europe. That's definitely a thing. Like, we all have our list, right? I would go anywhere in Europe. I would love to go to, I don't know, like Iceland to look at the Aurora Borealis, or go to New Zealand and nerd out in the Hobbit town. I would go pretty much anywhere, okay? I just can't afford it, and right now I'm staying home. Would you like to live somewhere else? Honestly, the one thing I hate about Canada is the weather. I hate being cold, and it's like winter 6 months a year. Like, literally right now it's snowing. How is it still snowing? Like 2 days ago I could see most of my grass. Now there's no more grass. What is the worst Harry Potter book? As a teenager, I would have said the 5th book, but I reread them as an adult on this channel and I now adore it. So what is wrong with you, young Emily? Now I think it would probably be maybe the last book. Just because my favorite part of the books is always the school. So yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that, spoiler-free-ish. So, are you going to do collabs? Maybe. I had an idea last year, but then I couldn't because of my surgery. And it was postponed until, it would be okay. And now that I want to do that, I don't know if I can still do that right now. I mean, it will probably be different than what I had in mind, but maybe I could focus on that since I will have possibly more time. What's the book you've reread the most? Harry Potter. I think it's most of us answer, no? Let me know if you have another answer, actually. That would be more interesting. Do you prefer reading in French or English? I prefer reading in French when it was written in French. If it was written in anything other than French, I'll read it in English. Most annoying trope. Okay, it's a very specific one. Love triangle, where one of the character is specifically a friend. I feel like it's very common with the girl having, multiple boys and one of them is her best friend. I fucking hate that trope. I fucking hate it. Because I feel like it just pushes that stereotype of like friend zone and all that of like people pretending to be your friend just in the hope of you sleeping with them, which is not how it works with these things. They have a genuine friendship and you have to mess it up. And we all freaking know they're not gonna end up together. So it's just so freaking annoying to read and you just want to punch them in the face. And like, can you tell I'm like hating it? So that, I really hate that one. If you could have a pet from a fictional book, which one would it be? That's a good question. You know what? Can I switch it? Pokemon? What is your favorite Pokemon? First generation only. Did I ever answer that question before? Sometimes I wonder because I have like conversation in my own head. That's one of the things. When you start watching a lot of YouTube or if you have a YouTube channel, you find yourself talking to yourself out loud. And like, I'll make faces, even if I'm not like talking out loud, I'll just like be. And sometimes I'm starting to film and like practicing about something and I just catch myself doing it. And then I edit and I'm like, so yeah, I don't know if I've answered that question before, but if I had to choose my favorite Pokemon, I think I would have like a Arcanine or something. That would be pretty cool, right? It's like a giant fire dog. What would be your choice? If you had to give up one, which would you give up, food or reading? You know, those questions always fascinate me because if I had the chance to never need to eat or sleep or something, I would take it. Like if it means that I'm never hungry and I'm always healthy, or if I am never tired, I would freaking pay you. I would give up a bunch of shit to have that. So very easily would give up food, and not even because I really want to read. Like I would give up reading if I didn't need to eat again. Yeah, is that extreme? Because I feel like I wouldn't have to bother about any of that stuff ever again. That would be awesome. Do you like cooking? But I like baking. But right now I live alone, so it's very dangerous if I bake anything because I know I'm gonna eat it all in one day. It feels so disgusting after. If you came with a warning label, what would it say? Eat Cheerios in bed. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thumbs up, subscribe. Celebration for 80,000 subscribers. This is absolutely crazy. Here's to more fun, more book videos, more recommendations, hopefully more 5 stars, and more rants. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe. Although, let's be real, if you're watching this video, you're definitely a subscriber. I will be putting more videos on the screen that I recommend you check out if you haven't seen them. And I shall see you in my next video very soon. Bye.
And a special thank you to Terzan Says.